Hello everyone and welcome from Akasa Living. Today I want to talk a bit about the quantum leap to progressing. The quantum leap for all of us progressing actually. I heard in my clairaudience or in my claircognizance, whichever way you're more comfortable with it, or in my inner beingness, the statement just a couple days ago. You're not here to heal the world, you're here to heal yourself. Heal yourself, heal the world. Now, a couple years ago, if I'd heard that, I would have been off down all kinds of rabbit holes. Thankfully, I didn't have to go down any rabbit holes. As we come up in levels of conscious awareness, we come to understand more and more that it's really all about each one of us being in our own frequency. And that frequency is simply love. Simply love. Not even self-love. Love. When we put self-love in front of it, that's when the selfishness can come out. That's why we have to look in the mirror and say, okay, this feels good. But is it going to feel good when I put it out and it comes back to me? Because everything we put out comes back, as we know. But if we're simply in the frequency of love, is this going to feel good? Period. Would this feel good? Period. Is this love? If something is not feeling good to us, we're not in frequency. Now, what may feel good to me may not feel good to you. That doesn't mean that one of us is out of frequency. It means we're different. And that's okay. It means we're at a different level of conscious awareness. It also simply means we're unique, we're different. We're here to contribute differently. We're meant to be in a different frequency. We resonate with different things. Our energies are harmonious with different things. So we attract different things in. We create or expand consciousness in different ways. That's what we're all here to do. So we're to have mutual respect for one another. I'm not to judge where you're at in your level of conscious awareness or what feels good to you, nor are you to judge what feels good to me. As long as it's not harmful, as long as we're doing no harm, as long as it's in the frequency of love, then it's perfectly fine. Now, when we're out of the frequency of love, we still aren't to judge necessarily. We don't want to be around it because that's harmful to us, perhaps even dangerous. And it will certainly pull us out of frequency because it's a lower frequency, it's a denser energy, and either we're going to pull it toward us or it's going to pull us toward it. It's not resonant with us. But it still doesn't mean that we don't have mutual respect for that being, that person. We still respect that person. We don't necessarily stay around that person, but from wherever, whatever distance we put between us, we still love them. We stay in the frequency of love. We don't come out of our frequency. And by staying in our frequency, the planet holds its frequency. And that person will come up into their very own frequency of love. And they too will become their highest vibrational version of themselves, just as we have become. That's how we all save ourselves, save the world. We each set the goal to become the highest vibrational version of ourselves, or to allow the highest vibrational aspect of ourselves to guide us, to not resist that. We resist it whenever we don't allow ourselves to feel good. I can't possibly do that. What will society think? What will the family think? I went to school 10 years to have that career. What do you mean that career doesn't feel good to me anymore? It's got to feel good to me. But it doesn't. But it doesn't. We resist our authentic selves, our highest nature, and are not our happiest version of ourselves. And we are not our highest vibrational version of ourselves. Therefore, we are not our highest frequency self. And we are not in the frequency of love, of self, and putting out the frequency of love of everyone else. You see, if we are not loving ourselves completely, which is respecting ourselves completely, honoring exactly who and what we are, the frequency, then we're not going to have that level of respect for everyone else. So we don't even need to put the word self in front of them. We don't need self-love. We need love, period. Love. Love. But the quantum leap to that is forgive everything. I've been saying this for a long time now. And people are like, there are things that are unforgivable. There cannot be anything unforgivable. Everything that's been done ever is because of level of conscious awareness. It doesn't mean you allow it in your energetic field. As I said, there are some things, yes, it's dense energy, so you distance yourself from it. You don't let it around you. You don't let it pull you out of frequency. You stay in love, but love forgives everything. Simply meaning you understand that the reason it happened is because that being at that time was in a denser energy. That was their level of conscious awareness. It may still be. And if so, you're distancing yourself from that. Perfectly appropriate. But nonetheless, we put out the energy of mutual respect, forgiveness, and love. Because that is the only way we bring that frequency up. You can never reason with that person enough, speak to that person enough. There's nothing you can do to act upon that person's energy enough to change that person's energy. That person is sovereign of self. This is your sovereign of self. And in our sovereignty of self, our one job here is to be in frequency. And that frequency is love. When we stay in our lane and love ourselves. And therefore, we are emanating out the frequency of love, which is also respect, and therefore forgiveness. That is the frequency that this other person, being, or even collective of people who have done something that was not in the frequency of love will feel. And they cannot help but be drawn to it. And if enough of us are doing this, then their frequency will come up. Save yourself. Save the world. Yes. Love. The quantum leap is forgive everyone of everything. And we must start with ourselves. All aspects of ourselves. Because who's been driving the ship, if you will? Well, the truth of the matter is, we didn't create the physicality that we exist in. We're the pencil. We're the part that's story is being written with. We're the densest part of the being that we are. The highest part of our being has been driving everything. But it all started at a lower level of conscious awareness. Because in the beginning, it was energy, neither bad nor good, just energy. And then when it became consciously aware, when it began feeling, the adage, I think, therefore I am. You thought, therefore you are. How did you know you were thinking? You felt it. It's I feel, therefore I am. So when energy became consciously aware, when it felt and began expanding consciousness by not just the math and science of it, but also by the expression of its feelings, the more artistic side, well, kind of there were no holds barred then, because you don't know what's going to happen. It's not all controlled by the math and science then. You can't necessarily look ahead and say, it's going to turn out that way. No, because there's the density of the physicality in which we are expressing through and in that density, the transmission of our highest frequency doesn't necessarily play out the way it starts here. As we're slowing our frequency down to become a denser being, to have a physical experience, we kind of lose the transmission. And we don't necessarily stay in that high vibrational frequency. So we had a denser experience or a lower vibrational experience or a lower level of conscious awareness in our physicality than our conscious awareness. And we didn't necessarily know that was going to happen. So we got into some dense stuff. And it's taken a bit to get the physical coming up into a high vibrational enough beingness to be in the frequency of love, so that what we are aware of in our highest level of conscious awareness as a baseline to our experiences are not going to be in a density that is not healthy for us. Where we're not disrespecting one another, harming one another, harming ourselves. But we didn't know that in the beginning because we hadn't done it yet. So our higher aspects of ourselves, which expresses itself through us, needs to be forgiven too. I've been channeling for some time now the universe or source energy, grieving over what has happened on the planet, in the cosmos, the chaos, wanting forgiveness for what the denser aspects of itself, the beings, have gone through. The planet has gone through. So we're not just forgiving what we can see, we're forgiving the parts of ourselves that we're only now understanding exist, because we are energy. That has nothing to do with how we got here, what our point of origin is, et cetera, et cetera. Your belief system can be anything. Source energy can be God. It can be any religion. I'm not talking religion. I'm talking about what we are, or energy. And that energy expanded in a way that was unexpected. And that energy has grieved that. And so that has become a part of our energetic beingness. That as a collective and as individual beings, we need to forgive. So we forgive everything, all of ourselves, from the highest vibrational part of us as we slow our vibration down to become tactile or physical. We forgive all of ourselves, even the highest vibrational part of ourselves. We didn't know when it was expanding consciousness necessarily what it was stumbling into. We forgive that part too, especially that part, because it's been writing the story. We've been experiencing it. So we're the ones who have experienced the expansion of consciousness that got into the density. We're the ones whose forgiveness they want. We want our own forgiveness, the higher parts of us. We want the forgiveness of the lower parts of us, the denser part of us, the part that's been experiencing the denser energy that the higher part of us got us into. Kind of like when you're younger and you make a mistake, and when you're older, you're like, boy, I wish I'd known better. Got to forgive myself for that. It's a great analogy of it. Matter of fact, I've got to forgive myself for it. Pull myself out of that and go on. I did it. I messed up. You got to move on. It's the best analogy I have for it. So first and foremost, we have to forgive ourselves from the density that we are, all the way up to the highest vibrational part of us, all the way back to in the beginning. In the beginning of this. I'm not saying in the beginning of everything. I'm saying in the beginning of our beingness as energy. How all of that came about, that's a whole other thing. And you can believe whatever you want to about that, and that's perfectly fine. I'm talking about the beings that we are, what our physical, energetic makeup is, and how we function, what our true nature is, what we're truly empowered by and fueled by, and therefore how we truly have a healthy body. Because it's by the integrity of our energetic field being intact that our physical body is truly healthy, which is a whole other video. There's no time in this one for that. It's not the scope of this one. So we start with forgiving ourselves. And once we've forgiven ourselves, we're in the frequency of love. We're loving ourselves. We simply emanate that forgiveness out to everyone and everything. There's no differentiation. As a matter of fact, usually forgiving self is the hardest. So once we've conquered that one, we simply emanate that out. Now, some may be saying, well, I can forgive myself, but I'm having a hard time forgiving. We all want to be forgiven. Therefore, we have to put forgiveness out. And if you're not forgiving someone else, you're most likely not forgiving yourself. Do some mirror work, not shadow work. This isn't about darkness and lightness. This is about what you once understood and what you understand now, level of conscious awareness. So forgive yourself for not knowing. Look in the mirror. You didn't know. So, well, I didn't know, but I did it anyway. Well, so you were cognitive of it, but you did it anyway, which means on some level, some aspects of you or aspect of you, some densities between here and here, still didn't know. There's knowing and there's knowing. We all know if we overeat, we're going to be overweight. But how many of us are overweight? There's knowing and there's knowing. It has nothing to do with willpower. It has to do with there's knowing and there's knowing. There's a knowing that is such a knowing that you truly can act on it. Forgive yourself for knowing, but not knowing and not being in an energy that was so dense that you still didn't act upon it. Because we're to allow the highest vibrational frequency of ourselves to transmit to us what it is we're to feel, our frequency, and then we are to act out or experience or express that frequency in our physicality, in our beingness. And that's what you did, or you thought. But it turned out to be denser energy, not the best thing. But you didn't know. Even if you knew, you didn't know. Some part of you didn't, or you wouldn't have done it. But you know now. So forgive everything. Put your energy to yourself. Give everyone else's energy back to them that's involved. Not with sending it back tenfold revenge or whatever. There's no revenge here. I want my energy in love. There goes theirs. In love. Light and love. Remember, everything is about love. Save yourself, save the world. Just give theirs back to them. You keep yours. Because we only control ourselves, sovereign of self. We don't act on someone else's energy. So give theirs back. You take yours. Pull it to yourself. And go forward on your timeline. Your highest timeline. And this is going to be an ongoing process because guess what we're still doing? Expanding consciousness. And not entirely by the numbers. Yes, universal law applies. Yes, we're holding frequency and attracting in. But we're expressing what we feel. Yes, we're staying in the frequency of love, so we're not going to go into the densities that we have been. But one, we've got to all get there first. So we're going to have some forgiving to do until then. But even when we get there, we haven't done it yet. So there is that element of the unknown. I wonder what's going to happen. That's why we're doing all this. We're expanding consciousness. So, what we're going to do today is a meditation where we're not just going to do inner child work. We're going to start with right now. We're going to forgive ourselves at this point in our lives and go back, all the way back to in the beginning. When we were just energy, neither bad nor good. And then come all the way back to now. We're going to forgive everything. Remember that when you do any kind of healing work, which I prefer calling progressing, because you're not broken, you're not sick, you've come across something because you've increased the level of conscious awareness that you now need to address. You need to raise your vibrational frequency on. You need to change your perspective on. You need to deal with the energy of. You need to progress. You're going to be triggered to progress on the same thing again at some point in time. So, and if not this, something else. So this is not a one and done. None of this is a one and done because we are energy, which does go by the numbers. We are, if we're in frequency, going to be attracted in according to universal law, the way the numbers work, the way the math and science of it works. But there is the element of emotion. There is the physical part of us in which the emotions, energy in motion, is being expressed through. That's why we can't attach outcomes to things, because we're not really sure what's going to happen. When you add the density of physicality into the mix, that's when it gets exciting for us. But we may have to do some progressing after it happens. When we give the highest version of ourselves the feedback on it, and maybe, yeah, on paper, when y'all were thinking about it and you wanted to write it, it looked good. And then when we lived it out in action, when you started writing it down and then we acted it out, let's tweak that. Yeah, let's progress and tweak that a bit. You just expanded conscious awareness. One whole complete energetic being. That's what we are. That's what we're doing. So we're going to quantum leap this. This is how we save ourselves, save the world. We forgive everything. It was all level of consciousness at the time. That's all. No matter what it was, no matter when it was, no matter who it was. That's all it was. I'm not downplaying what it was or how it impacted you. That is another part. Whenever it comes to something that hurt us or affected us deeply, we have been taught in our society to talk it to death, and then talk it a little more, and then talk it a little more. And when it circles back around and we get triggered, we better talk about it again. All we're doing is dragging ourselves through the energy of it again. We are quantumly entangling ourselves in that energetic web again. We're taking the energy that we are, that we have, our energetic bandwidth, and we are quantumly entangling it in the same thing that we came out of. We're recreating the same scenario again. We're feeling it again. We're not progressing from it when we do that. And we're going to get more of it in our lives because that's the frequency we just set up. That's what we're attracting in. And it doesn't feel good. Because we didn't love that to begin with. Our feedback on it was, we didn't like this. It didn't feel good. We don't want to do that again. Then why are you still talking about it? Much of this, you don't even need to remember, really. You just need to know there's energy in me that is stuck, that is keeping me from living my highest and best good. It may have happened in the beginning. So you're not going to remember it. Well, I could do regressive therapy and remember it. You could. But why? Then you just got to make yourself forget it so you don't quantumly entangle yourself in it again. We don't need to do those things to ourselves. Well, but I want to know why it happened. I want to know how I felt about it. And I want to, why? So you can quantumly entangle yourself in it again. No. Been there, done that, bought the t-shirt. Let's move on. Let's pull that energy forward. See what we can do with it now. Because that's what we do with energy. Is we pull it forward and we make something else with it. And then we move on from that. We pull it forward and we make something else with it. And we move on from that. We pull our energy forward and we make something else with it. Let it go. Save yourself. get in frequency. Go forward on your timeline. Heal yourself. Progress yourself. Progress the world. We don't need to talk about what it was. We don't need to remember what it was. We don't need to know the whys of what it was. We just need to get in frequency and be in the frequency of love. So we all start feeling love. And we won't go back to any of that. Love and above. Let's do this visualization, folks. If you would like to light a candle, please do so now. Lighting a candle raises the vibrational frequency around you because molecules are vibrating faster in the heat. If you have crystals that you like to have around, I have some amethyst here. My Selenite tower, my black tourmaline, a pink tourmaline. I have several around, whatever it is that you have around you. My heart that Gabrielle gave me last night, thank you. So whatever you have that you like to have around, that's fine. Or if not, that's perfectly fine. Again, these help raise the vibrational frequency, but they're not necessary. You don't have them. Okay. All right. So close your eyes and see yourself, just yourself, exactly as you are now. Perfect. That's right. You are perfect. You're an energetic being, and the highest vibrational part of you is making sure that your life is perfect. And you're in frequency. So the transmission is coming through perfectly. You're allowing it. You're getting the transmission. You're acting out what you're allowing to come down. You're filling the role. You're having the experience. You're expressing it. Giving the feedback to the highest vibrational part of yourself. Expanding consciousness. Upgrading the experience. Excited about what's going to happen next. Everything's perfect. You have the life you're here to have. You have the experience you're here to have. Everything is perfect. Well, there is that bit of progressing you need to do. You do get triggered occasionally. So we're going to take a walk. And we're going to let go of those few things. Or a lot of things that are hanging us up. And we're not going to focus on what they are, because it doesn't matter what they are. It doesn't matter when they happen, why they happen, how they happen. Point is, at some point, they happen. And you need to let them go. Because we want to be in the frequency of love at all times, so that the highest vibrational part of us can send the transmission of what it is that we're to be, so we can experience that, so we can express that, and have the highest and best experience possible, and expand consciousness in the highest frequency possible, and keep the frequency of the planet in love, so that everyone else comes up into the frequency of love, so that we're not in the density that's triggering me to begin with to feel all of this. Because I want to feel good all the time. But I don't want to be triggered in this way. I don't want to have these things to progress from. I want to expand consciousness by vibrationally in love. So that's what I'm thinking about. is love, and how love feels, and how I want to feel. I'm walking, and I'm walking. I found myself by the ocean, and there's a breeze, and there are waves, and there's the smell of the sea, and it's tranquil. I'm breathing in, and I'm breathing out, slowly, deeply, slowly and deeply. And the white sand is reflecting the sunlight, like the white light within my heart space as I'm breathing in, and breathing out. And this white light, source light, expands all around me as I breathe in and I breathe out. And I feel all of my chakras coming into alignment. My two natures of self, my allowing energy, my accepting energy, my feminine, my masculine, coming into perfect balance. As I breathe in and I breathe out. And I keep walking. So now every part of my beingness has come up into frequency, and I've gotten rid of any dense energy. And I'm now in the vibrational frequency of love. My highest and best good is coming down through my chakra system. That's the frequency I'm in, that's what I'm feeling. And I come to this waterfall along the ocean's edge. There's no one around. And I have a bathing suit on. So I take off my cover, it's over my bathing suit. And I go in behind the waterfall into a pool of water that's there. And the temperature is just perfect. And the water is soothing, warm, comfortable. And I feel memories, things that have held on to me, that I've held on to, just melting away. Things that have been triggered, things that get triggered, things that pull me out of frequency. I may know what they are. I may not know. I may know all too well what they are. I may be clueless. But I know what happens. Some of it because of something I did just yesterday or an hour ago, which is why I'm taking this walk. Some of it, it's not about me at all. It's about people around me are doing. People that aren't yet in frequency. I'm putting out the frequency of love. But while I'm doing my best to be around only resonant energies, there truly isn't a choice but to be around these. Some we get triggered. Or I'm holding on to something and I don't know what it is. I don't think it's about anybody else, but other people's actions still cause me to get a little wonky with my frequency. Or when the new moon comes or the full moon comes, I get really emotional, and there's stuff I know still. And I seem to manage most of the time, but it comes back around. Or when I'm in certain holidays or certain family situations or certain work situations, maybe you know what they are, maybe you don't. It's okay. Just set the intention, and you'll step into the waterfall. The water is perfect. You feel is amazing. It's coming down over your head, like it's pouring down through your chakra system, like beautiful, clear, white light, clearing everything away as you let go of everything that you've held on to, whether you know what it is or you don't. You forgive everyone and everything, all the way back to in the beginning. Blue light and violet light, quantum energies start coming down in the water as well. And you feel them coming through your chakra system, transmuting the energies you have within you. As whatever these energetic imprints are that you have start being remembered. Quantum light transmutes them as you set the intention. I want this energy to raise in frequency to love. I know what some of it's about, some of it I don't, it doesn't matter. Some of it is about me, some of it I did, some of it I don't know who did. It doesn't matter. And as you're standing here under the waterfall, the white light coming down the water, every possible color, and the color spectrum coming down, coming through the chakra system, clearing it out. And then the quantum rays, blue light, violet light, coming down, transmuting everything. You may have flashbacks. You may see yourself as a teenager. You may see yourself as a small child. You may see something that perhaps with a teacher, with a trusted family member, with a stranger. You may see something that seems to be from a past life, from another world. You may see something that just appears to be space, energy. You may see nothing. You may just hear my voice and be setting the intention, and that's good enough. If there is something specific, though, that you really believe, I do need to think about this a moment. I've truly held on to this. I need to name it and claim it and set the intention to let go of it. I've held on to it so tightly. And take a moment now to do that. But don't give it any more energy. Haven't you given it enough already? Take a moment. Let this waterfall of white light, blue light, and violet light wash away everything that does not serve you, that you remember, whether you remember or not, that you've held on to, that you need to let go of, that you've not forgiven yourself, others, the collective, the universe for letting all this happen. The planet collective for having such large issues to deal with that they won't seem to let go of and progress from. Whatever it is, let it all go. Set the intention that all things that you have been energetically entangled with that do not serve you, you wish to release energetically. Pull that energy to yourself. Return the energy to all those involved. All at the highest vibrational frequency of love. And you want to use that energy to go forward in your highest and best good and to allow others to do the same. Let the water come down and transmute everything, washing through your entire chakra system. The depth, the breadth, the length of it, all of it. Remember, we are multidimensional. Our chakra system goes in every direction. It's not just this column down the center. So imagine your entire being is being cleansed now. Let it all go. Breathing in, breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. Breathing in and breathing out. And as you feel it all just washing away and your frequency going up and up and up, as you find every part of your being is now the perfect frequency of love, your frequency. Perhaps you see yourself running as a small child in a meadow with sunshine and other small children all around you running, or your best friend, or your sister, or your brother, or maybe you see your parents, or maybe you see yourself when you were a teenager, or maybe you see yourself yesterday with the person you love the most. But you're in this beautiful, scenic place. The sun is coming down. The wind is in your hair, blowing on your face. It feels amazing. You feel so free, so pure, so unencumbered. Nothing impeding you from being totally you. Nothing pulling or tugging on you in any direction. Just you. Free to allow the highest vibrational part of you come down in you and be expressed through you in the most beautiful way running as a child, teenage years, senior years. You see them all. You may for a moment even glimpse in the beginning. You may see the birth of the sun. But there's nature all around you, beautiful abundance, everything we're here for, everything we're here to experience, flowers, trees, more water. And you're just exuberant, taking it all in. Maybe you're alone. Maybe there's no one around you. Or maybe there's one or two people. Maybe there's all sorts of people that you don't even know. But you're just so glad to see them because they look as happy as you. In frequency, in love, too. Maybe you're just swirling and twirling and dancing and just basking in the yellow gold sunlight, feeling the bliss and the joy of love. Allow yourself to feel this freedom. Having forgiven everyone and everything. Of your inner child being healed, of your higher self forgiving everything all the way back to in the beginning, to you forgiving yourself for 5 minutes ago, yesterday, 2 hours ago. Totally unencumbered, unentangled, free for your highest and best good. Perhaps you feel yourself soaring like a kite in a beautiful blue sky filled with white clouds and sunshine. Just enjoy. Do you feel yourself ascend? You feel yourself enter into oneness with Source, but still stay uniquely yourself. Don't have an expectation, just be. And as this yellow golden light comes down through the chakra system, you're hard getting a transmission, which maybe you understand now, maybe you get later. Maybe you journal about later, maybe you just know later, maybe you dream about later. You find yourself coming completely to the center, the chakra system coming completely to the center. Find yourself back at the waterfall, stepping back out of the water, which felt so good, and just washed everything away. All energies transmuted now. You're totally in the frequency of love. You find your wrap you had on. It's been in the sun and it's warm and cozy, and you put it around you. And you feel the energies of love all around you. Part of the wrap that you're putting on. There's all the energies around you because we're a part of everything and everything is part of us. For loving you, for putting yourself in frequency, thus helping to put the world in frequency. When you feel the one with yourself, happy with yourself, joyful with yourself, and at peace with all the world. You take a moment to close your eyes and experience that warmth wrapped all around you. With your eyes closed, you see the entire planet as if looking from space, and you see it wrapped in pink light, transcendent love, blue light, unconditional love, and violet light, which transmutes all into love. And you know that you have put yourself or allowed yourself to be in the frequency of love, which is your only job here. And you've just helped the planet, the home. And you see the energies reverberating out from the planet. And you know that that helps the cosmos as a whole. And that you're helping set everything in order. Then expand consciousness more and more beautifully. You feel yourself coming back to yourself. And you begin your walk back. And when you feel complete, you may open your eyes and go on with your day. Return on this journey as often as you need. You will be triggered again. But you love. You are love. And all is well.